A handful of cryptocurrencies surging after Coinbase announced that it is looking to potentially add them to its platform. Bob Pisani is at the New York Stock Exchange with all the details. Hi, Bob.
Coinbase keeps growing. Nothing's been approved yet, but Coinbase is considering adding 5 new coins to its platform, including Cardano, Basic Attention Token, Stellar Lumens, Zcash, and 0x, which will be joining Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin on their platform. Now, not surprisingly, these proposed coins were trading up anywhere from 15 to 25% on Friday night after that announcement was made. Still, many of these altcoins are down big time, 40% or more on the year. Cardano's down almost 80% so far in 2018. Now, bear in mind, we're dealing with very tiny market caps right now. Cardano and Stellar are at about $4 billion each, and well below $1 billion for Zcash and 0x and Basic Attention. Remember, Bitcoin has a $114 billion market cap. The company made the announcement late Friday after the bell, both publicly and internally. Now, that's important. Remember back in December of last year, Bitcoin Cash was suddenly added to Coinbase, and the price of Bitcoin Cash surged several hours before the announcement was publicly made. And that led to some allegations that insiders at Coinbase may have traded ahead of the announcement. Now, important thing is Coinbase subsequently said their policy prohibits employees and contractors from trading on material non-public information, but they also said they would not hesitate to terminate the contracts of employees who have traded based on insider knowledge. Back to you, Melissa.
All right, thank you, Bob Pisani. Well, our next guest is the man driving those potential changes to Coinbase. Adam White is Coinbase Institutional's general manager, and he joins us now on set. Adam, welcome to Fast Money. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I would imagine that trading volumes have really dried up since the December peak. Is adding new coins a bid to just increase volume on the platform?
Look, I think we have a long-term vision for the space, and we are focused on building the exchange, the wallet, the custodian that allows capital to move into the space and for price discovery to happen. Certainly, volumes today are lower than they were in kind of the end of Q4 in January. The idea behind adding new assets is very simple. Our customers want it. At the end of the day, we are building a product that our customers come to us, whether they're retail investors, of which we have more than 20 million, or whether they're some of the largest institutional investors in the space. And they say, we love the fact that we can trade on a compliant, safe, trusted platform like Coinbase, but give us exposure to more assets. And Friday's announcement is an intention that we're working towards that.
Is there another set of criteria now that you have the Coinbase Index Fund? I mean, is adding an asset to the platform an indirect way of saying we are bullish on these coins because that index fund is going to carry every single coin that's traded on the platform?
It's certainly not bullish. It is absolutely an indication that that asset is past what we call our digital asset framework. So you can look at this digital asset framework as kind of an industry best practice. Look at some of the existing exchanges having listing standards. We built this 60-point digital asset framework as an objective rubric that we share external, so anyone can look and say, okay, why did Coinbase decide to add Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ether? We want to be able to share that information transparently and also help guide the industry towards what we think are best practices for creating assets.
So a question just on the institutional side. People are talking about the institutional money coming to this platform, coming to this security, this level of securities. When I look at our firm and say the marketing aspect behind it for us has been fierce, right? We're trying to get the institutions like up to speed on these assets, et cetera. What kind of ramp are you guys seeing from the institutional side as far as year-over-year ramp, as far as fund flows or just interest?
I'd say unprecedented, right? What's so unique about cryptocurrencies, in many ways, this asset class was driven by retail investment, right? Not institutions. What we saw throughout 2017 is that institutional conversation became more and more profound, to the point where we've opened up a New York office. We've launched a suite of institutional products. Coinbase Custody launched for business just a few weeks ago. We're in the process of onboarding our third tranche of initial institutional investors. We announced Coinbase Prime, kind of our prime broker offering in the space. And probably just as importantly, Coinbase Markets, a low latency matching engine that's being built out of a Chicago office. All those are incredible steps forward. What we're seeing with institutions, though, is they want absolutely the right regulatory structure around it as well. So we're really happy to announce today that we've acquired a series of broker-dealer licenses. We acquired a broker-dealer, an ATS, and an RIA. Those licenses allow us to operate effectively a regulated compliant exchange, a regulated compliant custodian and asset manager. Those are all things that are really important for institutions.
You heard Kevin's interview just earlier, right?
I did.
In terms of addressing the issue of Bitcoin as its market share, forget the prices, but in market share of how much you trade, what's happened to Bitcoin's market share of that over the last several months?
So it's a fair question. We tend to focus much more on things like developer interest. So how many GitHub repositories, how many novel applications or use cases are being developed. There's certainly a strong argument that a lot of that developer interest has moved to other platforms like Ethereum, maybe even some of the platforms that we announced we're starting to explore as well. Bitcoin's market cap is like all of cryptocurrency has probably decreased over the past year or so as well. I actually don't pay too much of attention to that. But Kevin and I were speaking backstage, and he said, look, Adam, what's most important for me, someone like coming from my background as an active wealth manager, is three things. I need transparency, I need liquidity, and I need compliance. And we said, look, those are the exact three things Coinbase is working on. And it's not going to happen overnight, but we've had a couple big announcements. We've got some more that are going to help put us on that path.
I get the development on certain platforms, and that should make them differentiate, but they're not differentiated in how they trade. So when does that break? When does that correlation break? When does it, oh, you know what, I'm seeing more things being developed on the Ethereum platform, and so therefore Ethereum should trade differently from Bitcoin?
So I think it's one of the most fascinating fields of study right now. People call it crypto economics. It's how do we fairly value these new assets, right? You can't use a discounted cash flow. There is no black shoals of cryptocurrency. We're seeing a lot of interesting theses come out. Placeholder Capital has introduced one coming out of universities like Stanford, some white papers as well. The honest answer is people are valuing these assets very differently, right? Whether they're crypto hedge funds or the retail investor. The core metrics I think most people look at, though, is what are the daily transactions? How much volume is moving through it? How many people are building on top of it? At the end of the day, these are open protocols that are there to facilitate the kind of value creation and movement. That's what I think is most important.
Adam, thanks. Good to see you. Adam White of Coinbase. Tim?
I don't think it's complicated to see why they're trading with an R squared of 1. I mean, the correlation is basically all together. I think that continues. But Coinbase, every time they make these announcements, those guys stand out.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.